Jessica, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks.
We've known each other for a very long time, so it's nice to have a little one-on-one and kind of get down to it. You know what I mean?
Good. Yeah, friendly catch up with a friendly face. It's all good.
Yeah. So tell me what you've been up to.
Oh my gosh. Well, with the craze of the holiday season, that's like separate. But my life, honestly, if you knew me from a long time ago, so where I was like even 10 years ago, not at all where I thought I would be now. And there's obviously life happens. Life's tough.
Yeah.
Life's hard. It's definitely not what we picture when we grow up, but it all led me to the right things for the right reasons, and I'm a true believer of what's meant to be will be, and that's kind of been my mantra for the last 10 years, and that's
Absolutely.
that kind of positivity, and that has brought me where I am today. So I'm very grateful and very happy with where I'm at. Life's good.
Good.
Life's good.
Good.
Life's good.
So I think the first thing I want to get into is the whole Jessica Kathryn Designs.
Oh my God, and there is
This new endeavor for you.
Yeah, it's been, honestly, it's not where I want it to be just yet, but at least I started. I think that's the hardest part with trying to do something on your own. There's always like a fear of like putting yourself out there, and that's kind of what it was for me at first. But the story with that kind of came to be, which I think has kind of manifested a little bit. Like when I was younger, I always thought I would be on Broadway. That was my dream. I'm like, I'm that theater kid. Like, put me in.
I didn't know that.
Oh my God, my whole childhood was literally creating plays and casting my only two sisters. And I had to cast them because I knew what their strengths were. And I'd create like a program and like give it to my parents, and they'd have to come downstairs and watch. Like I was very creative that way, where I was like,
That's so cute.
It's going to be Jessica Kathryn. That's my stage name. When I'm on ET, like that's my name, Jessica.
Oh my God, I love that.
So I think I've kind of like manifested Jessica Kathryn into being like its own like individual, where I can be my creative self like as freely and as whatever I want to be with it. What happened with the design portion, I think was also a little bit carried on through childhood as well. Like, you know, my parents are very into like doing their own things, a lot of home DIYs. My mom's very creative. My dad's very creative. So I think being alongside them and like picking up on their quirks and stuff was kind of like, I can build this, I can do this, I want to make this. Like it was just very much so that kind of environment from a young age. So now growing, it's been like, ooh, mood boarding, ooh, design, ooh, colors. I like the way this blends. I like that this goes with this. How can I make this? And it just kept growing and growing. JKD though started so random. But I was with the bank for 7 years. And
I was gonna say, I was stalking your Instagram, like going through it, and I saw TD. I'm like, okay, there's something here. Something flipped for
really
her.
major happened there, and it actually took a fall. I think like I wouldn't call it a failure. I would call it like a triumph kind of moment.
Not like a literal fall.
Oh
like
yeah, literally and physically and like spiritually.
Oh wow.
Like it took me to go down to my worst to kind of rise up and become like a little bit more strong and like fulfill like, okay, this is the kind of life I want to live now. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
So back in 2021, with that being said, I got up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and I fainted and I smashed my head on my bathroom floor. I was unconscious for a little bit. My sister actually ended up hearing me, so she came to wake me up. Long story short, I ended up having a really severe concussion. And I'm a very outgoing, personal, bubbly person. That has never changed. From January 2021, I would say all the way to June 2021, I was, oh man, I went dark. I went into like a
different person.
Yeah, I didn't want to be around people. I was super anxious all the time. And let me just put some like backstory to this. Like 2021 January was also in the prime of the pandemic. So there was a lot of that stuff going around, like, oh my God. So there was already like an anxious, like tense environment. So adding this, keeping me at home, I wasn't working. I was also trying to plan my wedding, which has now got postponed twice. So we've had to replan twice from this point. So doing that with a concussion, my grandmother, like, I don't know, she passed away tragically in that time too. Like there was just so much that was just pulling me down that I was in such a dark place and I wasn't myself. And I literally thought I was never going to feel the same again because it's something you're suffering from the inside. You can't see the progress. You can't see that you're healing. It's a mental game that really I have never experienced before. And I've never experienced this kind of anxiety before. I lost so much weight. Like it was just the worst.
Too much.
Yeah, it was the worst time. Without my husband, without my mom, like honestly, I don't think I would have survived. Like to the point where my husband planned the rest of the wedding. I'm like, Daniel, I can't even look at this anymore. He's like, I got it. I'm gonna do it. You don't even worry about it.
You're like, just make sure there's white. Make sure it's white.
Just make sure it's white. And honestly, he did. He planned it was beautiful. He did such a good job. I'll never forget.
It looked great.
In the backyard, I was like, because we had 2 weddings because of COVID, right? So we did the night of the church. Shoot. We did like a little cocktail hour in our backyard. So he got the tent, he did the lights, he did the catering, he did the bartender, like he did everything. It was so cute. I walked in there and I was like, oh, so cute. You go, Daniel.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
So during that time, when you're so anxious and you're just like at a point where like you don't want to do medication, like you're like, that's how, like I was just so down. I was like, how the hell?
Can I put a pause on that for a second? What was the reason why you fainted? Was it because you were super anxious?
You know what? This is still to be determined. Nobody knows. I think it was the week that we buried my nonna too. So I think there was just like a lot happening. And I do have like, I don't know, you know when you get up too fast, you kind of feel like, whoa. So there was that. I think I just got out of bed too fast. Like I didn't give my body a chance and I was battling a lot of like feelings. Like we also just bought our first home that same week. So it was like a mix.
So much happening.
Yeah, it was like, I want to be so happy. I'm so excited, but I'm also like grieving in a really weird way because it was like COVID. So it wasn't a traditional funeral. Yeah. Like everything was just backwards. I just felt so heavy in my heart. There was just so much going on that week that I guess that night just happened in the middle of the night. I just lost it. And that happened. Yeah. So going back to like dealing with this thing and trying to heal and recover, I was like, how am I going to get through this? And I'm like, you know what? I'm off now. I'm going to put my time instead of dwelling and like feeling like crap on the couch every day. Cause I couldn't even watch TV that much. Like I was just like, what the hell am I going to do? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sign up for a course. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do an interior decorating course because it's something I've always wanted to do. I'm passionate about like blogging and vlogging and creating and like content creation. This is when Instagram was really kind of booming in that kind of era. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I could do this. I want to do this. So I started my JKD page, which I still have like my first initial like few posts because like they're just very sentimental to me. And that was like the time that I was going through what I was going through. And my intro post had like a little blurb about me trying to heal physically and spiritually. And this is kind of my journey. So I signed up for this course. It was a year-long program. I did it from home. And I started mood boarding, which is like, you know, you plug your couches, you plug your color charts. And that to me just zenned me out. Like I went to a different place. I don't like reading per se. I don't like coloring. I don't like meditating. I'm too busy for that. Like my energy, like I can't just sit there and like, but that transformed me. And as soon as I felt that connection with like, I just felt purpose. I was like, okay, not only do I like doing this, not only does it calm me down, like not only does it relax me, like I've been getting a good reaction from it. Like people, I think I'm pretty good. Like I think this might work. So then the hardest part was like putting it out on Instagram, right? You're always kind of like, it's like a shell shock. Like, are people going to like it? Are people going to like me? Am I doing like a good thing? Does this work? And then once I got that positive response, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to really go with this now. So I graduated from the course. I got my certification, which was great. But
how long was the course for you?
I did it in about 9 months because I was at home. I wasn't working at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I finished it in
all online, I assume, right?
All online, yeah. You could literally, it was basically like you could do it to your own pace. You had 2 years to complete the course.
Was it because of COVID that it was like that, or that was like the option that you chose? Like, obviously, it was the option you chose. But like, what the course that you picked, was it specifically online? It was. It
was specifically online. It was called the Interior Design Institute of Canada. They're based in Vancouver, so it is an online course, and there's like a lot of other things you can do with it as well. Like, there's master classes. There's more that you can add. But I just decided to do the basic because I was like, okay, let me start here.
Yeah.
And then from that point, because I was off, this is now from after my wedding, I quit the bank, just kind of blindly. I was like, you know what? Can't be tied to it anymore. I was that person at the bank. Like I was there for 7 years. I loved my branch so much. I think I was just very comfortable and to the point where like I couldn't be in an office. I tried. I was doing lines.
What was your role there?
So for 5 years, I was a teller. And then the last 2 years, I was a personal banker. So I was like doing lines of credits. I was opening accounts. I was applying for credit cards for clients. It was a lot more just like cubicle office work, but I was never in my office. I was always on the teller line.
Walking around.
Yeah, I was on the teller line. I was talking to the clients. Like, I just could not sit there. So I was like, I'm not going to move up here. Like, it's just obvious. Like, it's not for me. I don't like numbers. If I see one more line of credit application, I'm going to pull my hair out. Like, it's just not for me. So I'm like, I'm done. After my second wedding, after part 2, I was like, no, I'm done. I loved it there. It was so safe and like comforting for me. But I was like, this is not it. Like, I'm so much more than a left brain person that would enjoy working with numbers all day. So after that, I was kind of like, okay. And this is where my husband was like, honestly, like, I'll talk about him. I can talk about him forever. He was the best. He's like, Jess, you do what you gotta do. I'll support us. Like, we're good. Don't even worry about it. Like, if you want to try to start JKD, do it. Quit. Chill. Heal. Number 1, because I want you back to your 100%, and we'll just figure it out. So that's what I did. And a new opportunity kind of came up, which was really cool. And I'm still doing it as well as JKD, because JKD is something that I haven't put my full energy into just yet. It's something that I feel like I do as a hobby, as like something that serves me
more part-time, you would say?
Yeah, like it gives me that kind of purpose on the inside where I'm like, I'm doing something really good and something I enjoy. But then I also am doing something else that also makes me really happy, and it's something I'm really, really good at as well. And that's in the bridal industry, which has been like, it's taught me a lot. It's brought me closer to being a lot more open on Instagram and getting into that whole content creation world. And again, seeing like a positive response and being with your brides and being a lot more creative. And like, there's a lot of really cool pros to this job too. So I just kind of feel like I'm living the best of both worlds. I still do design, and I do it a little differently because I'm not certified as an interior designer. I do more decorating. So it's like helping people find their vibe, their aesthetic, how to keep the harmony going in their space, like how to, I would say more so of helping them keep the consistency through their home. And that's something that I'm really good at. And I've had a few clients already.
What's the difference between you receiving your certification? What can you do versus can't?
So I can't do anything on AutoCAD that includes like drawing, like repositioning of the spaces. I'd have to do another year of school to do, because it's an online course to learn AutoCAD. It's just more so about learning it and then like being able to.
Sorry to cut you off. I did architecture in grade 11, and I did AutoCAD. I hated it. I love the architecture part, but I hated it. Like, I hated it so much.
It's a different vibe. And that's kind of it too. I'm like, I'm not going to do anything that's going to stress me out because I'm in a very calm place right now. So I'm not even going to push it. It's fine. I'm good with this. So like, the way I kind of revolve around my clients right now is like, we'll do a consultation. Let me set up your mood boards. Let me help you get started, because you know what? Not everybody needs an interior designer. Like, you're good. Let me just help you start.
Okay,
this
is
kind of what you can look for. Like if you like this couch, let me show you what options you can do with this that'll match your dining room, and then kind of pick it when you're shopping. You're like, oh, just put this in the mood board. I feel like this goes, and then it helps them start. So I don't need to, you don't have to pay tens of thousands of dollars for an interior designer, but at least I can help you start, and you kind of get an idea of like, I'm confident shopping on my own because I know what the aesthetic of my home is going to look like now. So that's kind of like where I fit in first.
I like that though. It gives people more of a, like, for me, freedom. Sometimes I like assistance, but like I'm the type of person that's more hands-on. So like if I needed someone like you versus like hiring somebody and then looking at them being like, I hate all of this. I don't know why I hired you, but I needed you to help me. You know what I mean?
And that's kind of it too. Like, that was one of my biggest like fears starting it too, is like, what if they don't like my design style and I designed their home and it's already done and it's not what they wanted. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do it a little different. Let me just help them. They'll tell me, like, for instance, like with one of my clients, I do called like a game. So I put like 4 different aesthetics in a grid and I send it to them, and I give them like 4 different pages of different rooms. I tell them to circle what they like. This way I can understand where their eye goes for color, for shape, texture. Do they like this? Where do they like the placement of that? So I really get to understand their design style and what they go to first when they're in a store. And then I build their mood boards based off that for their spaces. And now when they shop and they're hard, like if let's say clients, they have a harder time making a decision if it's this or that, like I can help them with that. And be like, you know what, this will give you this vibe. This will be like, this will stay true more to our mood board. So if you like the way our mood board looks, this one will be the better option. And that way it gives them a little less like, oh my God, it's do or die. I don't know what I'm doing, or it's not going to turn out right. and then it's like more like a helping hand guidance, and I can kind of help them start.
I think the hard part with working with people is, I know what you're saying about like, oh, I don't know if they're gonna like it. It's kind of like they're hiring you because they like what you do, and then you're either gonna get the people that have that where they're gonna like what you do and be like, okay, that's cool, blah blah blah, or they like, I like what you do, and then they're the ones who are very indecisive. So like working with people is very difficult in that sense because you don't know what you're gonna get. So
that's right.
You know, it's annoying. It's annoying, but like it is what it is. Because like I do video editing, and
yeah, you're amazing at video editing, by the way.
Thank you.
It's hard. Kudos. It's hard.
Well, I'm self-taught. I learned it all on my own. Just, I've always been that kid that just, if I like something, I'll try it out, so. But yeah, like I have clients where they ask me to do a video and I just edit it and they're like, perfect. They don't care. I'm like, lovely.
No notes.
Yeah, and then I have the other ones that are like, oh, can you fix this or do? And it's like it's not like I'm like, oh, annoyed, but like I'll do those edits in the way that they need. Yeah, well, it's my job. I'm trying to, But then it would kind of be like to the point where they should have just sat next to me and tell me where to move the cursor where they need it. You know what I mean? Right. So it's kind of like finding that balance between, I usually get more people more so now that are like, they hire me for me because they know what I do is good and they like it, and send it to them and paste,
But it's so true, like, and that's a good way to put it, because when you're editing or if I'm designing, it's like we're going to you because we like what you do. And that's so true. When you're hiring a wedding photographer, you're hiring a wedding videographer, it's because they have a certain style and the way that they edit. So it's like, that's what I like.
Yeah.
Like if you want an editorial photographer, you're going to go to someone that does editorial photography. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
I think with creatives too, I have a hard time. It's hard not having an expectation when you're trying to get to the destination of the expectation you're creating. You know what I mean? Like there's some different ways of trying to figure that out, but like I find myself sometimes when I'm creating with anything, dance, music, videos, it's like I have to really spend a lot of time mentally, like just being so present and being like making a switch when I need to. Oh, I'm gonna change this to that. Oh, this looks better. It's really like I don't know if you feel the same way, but like sometimes it's very difficult, like honing in and being like, where am I going?
100%. And sometimes you need to walk away from it. Like I've done that so many times with mood boards. I'm like, I can't stare at this anymore. Tomorrow, fresh eyes. I'm doing it again, and then you make your changes. Or I send it to people. I'm like, does it look good? Are you doing like this?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, because
and it's hard to work. I think working with people, you want to. It's not like we're not confident. We are. It's just like we really want them to have the best experience with us, and just like getting to know how we do things. And it's kind of just like, yes, you hired us, but it's slightly a collaboration where like
But you know what?
You're taking whatever I have and then giving it to you.
It just shows how much we care. Like we genuinely care about our work and the way that we want to help the clients that we're working with, right? Like that just shows that there's that. Because if we didn't care, we wouldn't be having this conversation. There wouldn't be these like background worries, these background things that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's perfect for what they are envisioning.
I find sometimes when I get into those moods and, just like mindsets, I kind of just keep reminding myself, or I just try to become aware of like, okay, what's like going on here?
Yeah.
Like, why am I actually feeling this way? Like, yes, I don't want to say impress, but I want to do a good job of myself.
That's right.
Why is it taking a different route with my brain and my thoughts going somewhere else and being like, why is it getting deeper than it needs to? I'm just doing a video. I'm just choreographing. I'm just doing a post. Like, why is it, I find moments where I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, why am I acting this way? Yeah.
I know, it's so true. That's the mental battle. Honestly, I can speak for myself too. Like it takes a lot to come back and like be and present and be like, I got this. It's like, it's a lot now. I don't know what, is it social media? Is it all comparison? Like, I don't know what it is, but like, I find that too. So it takes a lot to learn that practice of like back to yourself.
But even going back, if we can like jump back a little bit with that whole experience you had of the whole January to June, it's so funny because there's so many like little things. Like I literally had an interview before this and she wanted to get into interior design.
Oh my God.
And here I am having a conversation with you talking about interior, and here you are talking about a situation in 2021 where something happened in January and it took you till June. I'm not kidding you. Like I literally had the same experience a year after you from and I think it was February to June.
You
And
fell.
I was in the same no, I didn't
Oh,
fall, but like I had a
oh, you kind of
you
went through
fell.
that.
Yeah, so basically like I'm pretty open about it. I was smoking weed so much like 24/7 and like I was like the way that we're conversing, the way went about my day now, it was the exact same way I would with smoking.
Yeah.
I got in that zone, and then one day I was driving home and I was having a panic attack while I was driving, smoking a joint. Sorry to anyone, don't smoke and drive, but
Yeah.
here I was, and then I thought I was having a heart attack, so my brain just like fluctuated. And then I got home, I'm like, no, I'm not. I like sat in my room, and then I was trying to like look at my closet at the time, and everything was blurry. I'm like, okay, well, I'll see you in the afterlife. I went to my mom, told her, she freaked out. I had to call an ambulance because I just wasn't sure. And they're like, no, you're having a panic attack. And from then on, I was just very like
Trick.
so cautious
Yeah.
about trigger, but I was just like, what the fuck just happened to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
What went on? Anytime I felt my chest having that like sensitivity,
Yeah.
it's not even like I thought about anything negative. It wasn't like that at all. It's just whatever I felt.
Yeah.
I was like there I was teaching dance too, and anytime I drove to the dance studio and I felt that way, I thought I should just drive straight to the hospital. I'm like, I have no idea how to be like I couldn't take whatever I was thinking because it was very flight or flight and being like what I want to be cautious. I don't want to be like over exaggerated about the
Yeah.
situation, but it was just very like heavy to be like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah, like I'm getting a little bit emotional too because it's very
Was the
like
same thing?
same thing. I was,
Yeah.
and I like I said, I've never experienced anxiety like that before. But like my
Mm-hmm.
triggers, I was not okay, and it was hard to explain to a lot of people because everyone's
Yeah.
like, fine, snap out of it, like it's nothing. I'm like, no, 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 like it's actually something I can't control. I'm so
Yeah,
far.
and it wasn't again going back to what I said, it wasn't not like I'm like sitting there and be like, I have the worst life, and then zoom. It's just like I'm just trying to, okay, put my sheets up, make my bed, and then I feel the
Right.
chest pain. I'm like, what's going on? There's nothing else triggering it except for the fact that I felt something in my chest,
Right.
and that triggered that whole episode being like, oh, is this?
It's happening again.
You know?
Happening again.
Yeah.
That's a really big thing for
I
me
was
too.
like, what the
Recovering.
fuck?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I feel that 100%. It's anxiety's tough to battle, man.
I realized after the fact that I generally am an anxious, like it may not come across that way, but I generally am an anxious person at the end of the day, how I am, you know,
Me too.
like I'm so giddy, you know,
It's
chatting up.
because
I
we have
love
high
doing all
energy.
of it.
It's because we
Yeah.
vibrate, like our frequency is already high. You know what I mean? Like when you have a
Yeah.
really outgoing and personal, like you're let's go. Like that's me from day to day. And like when I
Yeah.
started seeing a homeopath, like I love her, God bless her soul. She like deals with my energy a lot. She's like, Jess, the best way I can explain this to you, and like don't take this the wrong way. It's actually meant to help you, and it kind of does because I'm like, this is
Yes.
I'm not even like why me. It's like this is who I am, and it's cool. She told me most people buzz here because they're just, they're like a little bit more like they don't have like a lot of energy going on during the day. They're a little more whatever. They buzz here, and when something happens and they need to get a little bit more like ooh, they kind of go here. She's like, but you're already here. So when something happens for you, you like jump up there. So she's like, that's why. You just vibrated a higher frequency. You just got way more energy all day. Like I don't even drink coffee that much anymore, and I'm still like a mile a minute. So I
Yeah.
just say, I'm like, if my heart fluctuates a little bit and pounds a little faster than the normal person, it's because I operate at this frequency, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay not to be scared about that because that's who I am. So I started to learn and like kind of deal with it that way, and it's kind of brought me a little bit more down. But I still dabble with the panic
Stress.
attacks.
Yeah. You know what? Knock on wood, I haven't really dealt with that. I think with me just in that moment, I don't know what it was specifically, but I remember sitting there waiting for the ambulance and just being like, I need to change my life. And that was just the thought running in my head the whole time. Like it wasn't like a bad thing. I was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't even pinpoint exactly what to change, but I just sat there and I was like, I need to change my life. And like I don't know, my experience with that was more so with my relationships because after that I started just being more like, oh, I'm feeling weird. I need to not do this or go out. And I was doing that and I found this is more so of a reflection after the fact, but I just found myself
Yeah.
changing for the people around me, and I would like to think the best of the situation, but I think at this point I just looked at everything as just like they knew me for Dan before this, and then after this they kind of just like, where's Dan? You know, I think that's the hard part because it's being like what you said earlier, being like, I'm back to Jess. You are back to Jess, but you're not at the same time, and that's fine and okay. But it's like
Yeah.
the reason why we went through what we did is because we can't be that version of ourselves, you know. And that's the hardest thing because then I was like, it took like still like that was 2 years ago. To this day, I still struggle with like some of the relationships that I had previously because I recognize the changes and I recognize the
Yeah.
changes I had to make for myself, but I didn't want to make, and then I was trying to like I would say control in a way, like how it would work out for me, but like it was just like learning how to go with the flow with it and being like, okay, like this is what I need to do, I guess, because like it's not working for me anymore. Even like
Yeah.
teaching and stuff, like I just had to, I don't know, I like really had to let go. And these last 2 years for me have just been like really learning how to just go with the flow and like good things happen and bad things happen. And it's kind of just like reminding myself, like, okay, like, yes, you went through something, doesn't mean it's going to be candy canes and gumballs, you know, it's going to, I don't know why I said that analogy, but, um, you know what I mean? It's not going to be all fluff. It's just like you have to learn to like go
Yeah.
through the ups and downs because like
So,
the things that I want to do on a soul level and, you know, career level, like I would have to go through that more frequently. So it's like if I can't deal with that now, it's kind of like how are you going to do everything else later? And then it's
that's
just the
right.
reminder of you really are where you need to be right now. And then it's just
That's
like
right.
you got to sit with that, good or bad,
It's,
which is hard.
I yeah, that's number one. And like going back to like even how I thought, like who I was in like high school, really my teenagers, not even high school, just being a teenager, and thinking like that point of my life was like hard, and like thinking that like where I'm gonna be, like what I'm doing now is like where I'm gonna be, and it's just like so much has changed, and like I like same as you, like I think I've grown personally and spiritually. I think I've
Mm-hmm.
grown the most in these last 2 3 years, like out of the whole time, because like even like when I was a teenager, I felt a lot more confident. I felt like I was thriving. I just felt like I was a stronger person back then. But then looking at myself now, I'm like, no, no, no. I'm way stronger now.
Mm.
Way stronger now. Because I maybe mentally back then I just had less worries, but I think everything that I've gone through now, and then I think about what happened in 2021 or even stuff that's happened after, and I'm like, if I went through that and I survived and I came out like this, like I'm good. Like I think I'm good. And that's another good reminder for my mental state too. It's like,
Yeah.
you're strong. You're good. Things are not going to be as fluffy as we thought. It's life's hard. Life throws curveballs, and it's just the way we handle them in the moment. And it's you can react to them however you need to in that time, just like grieving or anything else you need to do, and you take your time. But it does get us where we need to be, and everything happens the way it's meant to happen. And
Going back to like the whole getting into the um, designs and stuff, I think by the conversation we're having, you can tell that I'm just an awareness kind of guy. Like, why do I do this? How do I do this? Why am I doing this for this reason? You know. So,
yeah,
you getting into design, do you? I don't know if you thought about this. Do you think that yes, it was helping you cope with what you're going through, but did you find yourself getting in a cycle where it wasn't helping you progress with your growth?
no, that's a good question. I think it served me what it was supposed to do for sure. I definitely kind of came out of that black hole, like not just with that, obviously with friends and family that were there to help support
Mm-hmm.
this whole anxiety thing that I was dealing with. Because a lot of the symptoms I was feeling was not even from my concussion at one point. It was all anxiety driven.
Yeah.
But they triggers. Anxiety is like they mimic a lot of the concussion symptoms as well. So I
Mm.
think I recovered from my concussion a lot sooner, but it was just the anxiety that was prolonging that recovery,
Mm.
which made everything a lot worse. But interior design though, and doing this decorating and everything that it brought me definitely was like a coping mechanism. But I still find it as a coping mechanism. So if I feel like I'm having an anxious day, or I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do a mood board. I'm just gonna make one about a random bedroom, or I'm gonna do one for a family room design, and I'm just gonna plug my creativity. I'm gonna dive into Pinterest, and I'm gonna spend a couple hours, and I'm gonna
Mm.
just get myself out of this zone. You know, some people like to color, some people like to walk. that's me. So I do use it as a coping mechanism when I need to, but it is a passion. It's something I actually really do enjoy. I love sharing on social media. I love content creation, but it is very hard to think of ideas and then to film and then to edit. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just like, kudos to everyone, like these influencers and everyone that does this. I cannot, like, I can't keep up. I can't even remember the last time I posted. So, like, but I also do it with the bridal boutique as well. So I think a lot of my focus is like putting my energy and the content creation side of things into the bridal boutique as well, which is really cool because sometimes when we have new brides come in, they're like, "Oh, I recognize you from Instagram."
Oh yeah.
Like, I want Jess because she looks like she's fun.
Oh, that's so cute.
Right, let's do it. Yeah. So
back to building community for you. You know, just building that.
It's fun. Like, I remember the first time I did the video for the boutique, I was always like, oh my God, what's my hair look like? Do I have anything on my teeth now? Like, I have to plan my outfits. And now I'm like, are we shooting today? Okay, what am I saying? What am I gotta do?
Yeah. You get comfortable just being, you know, yourself, you know.
100%. So, like, at least I feel a little sort of fulfillment of, like, doing that kind of version of content creation and being creative, that route, and then keeping JKD a little bit more like this is kind of, it could be like a work thing in the future. I don't see it going there anytime soon, but it's something that I am passionate about, and I kind of want to just keep that theme relevant to my page as like more of like a blog and inspiration and kind of zone in on that, and then do some content creation when I get a chance anyway in there.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I want to jump back to what you were talking about, theater, because I don't remember this part of you. All I remember is going to my cousin's house and swimming lessons, but
oh my God, you remember all the stuff I made them do in the pool? We think we reenacted all the Little Mermaids like a million times. Poor to me. So
did you go to St. Elizabeth?
I did. No. So I did not do drama. I did not do anything. I just basically played sports because they had the soccer program that was like really good and stuff. So I just played sports all throughout high school. That was basically my life. Soccer was my life.
Why didn't you ever get into theater?
Stage fright. So 2 occasions happened to me that kind of burst my bubble. And I should have been like a voice actor. Like, honestly, kid, like I had so much energy, and like my home videos, like God bless my parents, I don't know how they had this much patience with me because I was a menace, but I also was like so theatrical and like so loud and energetic, but like whatever, they were great. They just like encouraged me, and the occasional like video cutting just because I was bad.
That's so funny.
In high school, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna audition for the musical because I used to write songs in my room. I used to like do like dances, but not like dance like hip hop. It would be like to a musical. I'm like, I figured that. Like lyrical, like let me just be the musical.
Performative dancing.
That was my job. Like in my room, that's what I was doing. I was pretending I was in my own show. So in high school, I was like, you know what? I'm going to audition for the musical. This is my time. I'm just going to do it because I want to be on that stage. And I remember I got to my audition and I literally couldn't do it. I stood in front of the teachers and I was like, I'm sorry. My heart's racing really fast. I don't think I'm going to be able to sing. And they're like, do you need a minute? I'm like, yes. And so I went outside and I was like, I'm not going back in there. And I left.
Aww.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I think I was in grade 10. Yeah, so it was early enough where I was like, I'm not doing this the next 2 years. It's done. This time has passed. I think I'm just going to play soccer. And then in university, so grade 12, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a broadcaster on TV. I want to do like what they do on ET. Maybe I can just interview them. That way it's less pressure on me and I can just interview them and then they can do all the talking. So I volunteered at Rogers Television in Richmond Hill in grade 12, and I used to go there after school, and they teach you how to do like the cameras and stuff, and then one day they're like, Jess, can you go and like read the teleprompter? That's just like a test, like whatever, like it was not on air. Oh my God. So I went there and I sat in like the host's chair or whatever, and they ran the teleprompter. I literally could not read it. I could not read it. I was like, nothing.
blank, right?
Blank. I was like,
oh my God.
So I think that was the moment for me where I was like, I can't do this. Like, it's just not for me. This is not what I'm meant to do. Like, I literally clearly I can speak to you, no problem. Like, I could be really great at this, but I can't do this. And that's what I was kind of going into university for. That's the programs that I applied for and got into. And I was actually even supposed to play soccer in university, but I tore my ACL, my MCL, and my LCL. So to not play soccer.
Not all those things.
All in one, all across the board. My knee was literally hanging on like this. Like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so then I did that reconstructive surgery as well in grade 12, I think. Yeah, grade 12. So university just completely for me was like, I'm not playing soccer. I'm not doing theater. I'm not doing broadcasting. Like, just my whole life was just like, what the hell am I going to do now? Like, what like, this is what I pictured for my next 10 years. Like, now I'm just lost. So I ended up doing communications and media studies and ended up working at the bank all those times through university. I was a teller all throughout. And then I just kind of stayed there after university. I'm like, hey, no, my life is going to be me at the bank. Like, this is my life. And I'm like, and I'm not happy. And that whole thing happened with the concussion, taking time off, and then quitting, and then starting JKD from through that, and then getting this opportunity at the bridal store, where I'm still at today. So
it's really a challenge to go through stuff like that, because like there's a lot of things that I've like, obviously I'm a different person, like what you said about like the whole stage fright. Like I was like that in different ways. Like I remember I went to go audition for, the Next Step, the kids show.
Yeah, on Family.
So I remember we went to go dance, and it was like for the main roles. And like after we danced, all of us sat at the back of the room. They called one by one to the front, and we had to speak. And like I never, like, we weren't taught, like, we're dancers, we don't speak, like. So literally the question was, why do you love dancing? And I was like, behind them was a window, and all I saw was a brick white wall. And I was like looking at I'm like, well, I like, I love, like, I didn't know why I loved it, but I know why I love dancing, but like it couldn't come out of my mouth. And I was just like, that was like, I wish I got it so badly to be in it, but like I had no idea how to use my voice at all. Like no idea at all. But then there's me in grade 6. Like I quit dance in grade 6, and we had an audition. It was like a talent show kind of. So like I literally just went and I played a song, and I just freestyled.
Oh my God.
And it was like you know what I mean? Like I was just like, I didn't plan, like I would play it here and there, like, kind of get it just what I was doing, but it was just freestyle, and just I was so confident. And I was like, if only I knew how to use my voice back then, I would have got that. But like, even like the nuance of what I'm just saying with that, it's just like I recognize now my voice in a way, and like knowing how to be it goes back to like who you are too. Like just
I can totally.
How do you?
Like
like how do you speak? What you're speaking, what you believe in. It's kind of like I always had that in the back of my mind, but like presenting it was just very.
But even when
I would present it in different ways, but it wasn't direct.
That's right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. But it's also harder when you're younger. Like when you're younger, like, for me personally, like I knew I had performance anxiety, because I felt that with like even before a soccer game, like a really big one, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. But then as soon as you get the ball at your foot, you're like, you're zoned, like you're in there. But it was something that I was so used to that I snapped out of it really fast as soon as I got that ball on my foot. Versus going out of your comfort zone is you have no comfort there. There's no comfort. There's no safety net. Like you're just like free falling. And that's kind of where I think my fears came in, and I didn't know how to deal with them at that time versus being on the soccer field and being able to meet that performance anxiety in those kinds of settings, but not for trying something new that I really wanted to do back then. Now I don't know. Now I'm just like, do I still want to be on Broadway? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I could. Probably could.
I think with growing up in the things we want to do, there's always an underlying reason why you want to do it in the first place, why you want to get into whatever you're getting into. So like what I believe in is like past lives and like just soul purpose. And there's a bigger purpose of why I'm here and why you're here. And it's kind of like there's looking at things for what they are is hard sometimes, because there's a bigger picture behind us. So like me dancing and stuff, like, yes, I danced for like 16 years, like 10 years. I've been dancing a lot since I was like 3. So more than that, but like, there's something here that I need to learn. And like, when you're a kid, when we're younger, like if I had the knowledge I had now back then, I think I would be like a superstar at this point, because I would know. But again, everyone says that and we all think that, so that's not life. But there's always just a bigger purpose in trying to.
I agree with that.
I think just having the awareness of like you know, even like you getting into designing, yes, you love it. I love to design videos or choreograph. It's like, why, what is it telling me? What's the reflection back? You know, I think people having that awareness or not, it's very difficult because like trying to figure it out on that kind of level is being like, hey, I should do ABC, go to the bank. This is my life, blah, 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 not happy. I'll stay at the bank. I'll just go out at night with my friends, have drinks. Or it's like, get out of your comfort zone
Right.
and still deal with the same things at a different level. I think it just comes down to choice. And that's the hard part, choosing.
100%.
Because we all have the free will to choose.
Choosing to quit the bank was like one of the scariest things. Like literally, and I remember I told my parents like the day after part 2 of the wedding. So like they were on a high, and like I remember sitting at breakfast and I was like, oh, by the way, I quit the bank. And they're like, we're like literally watching your videos of us dancing at the Tarantella and you're telling us what?
Yeah.
Why? And I was just like, it doesn't make me happy. Like, it doesn't make me happy. It's just simple as that. And like, it was very scary, but I also had support from my husband. I don't think I would have done it if he'd been like, oh my God, Jess, like, what are we doing? He was like, you do what you gotta do. I got us. You figure it out. No problem. So there's that.
I think you're lucky in that sense though, because a lot of people don't have that. And it's hard giving or relating to people sometimes when the experiences are different.
Yes.
Because like sometimes like, yes, you jumped out and went to find another job. It's like not that no one can do that. It just, again, there's a whole spectrum of people being able to do that, and other people like, yeah, they could do that, but like they don't have that support more so to do that. So like it's a whole different, like you'll start here and then, you know, you do your dips, and they'll start here, but they have to dip down a little bit more, maybe go up and then come back down to get to where they need to go. And it's like, it's kind of hard finding relations sometimes in that at the end of the
Yeah.
day. And I think it's hard to like get advice from people. Me, so more so me share advice and then receive advice because I can see the differences sometimes. It's kind of just like,
I honestly, I'm a terrible advice giver. Terrible advice giver. Like, I will be open ears. Like, I will hug you as long as you need me to. But when it comes to giving advice, I'm not good. I'm not good with it. I don't know how to. It's not that I don't know. It's just you want to be when you're giving advice. I just think there's a lot of pressure there. Like, you can say it's okay and it's all going to work out. That I believe for sure. It's all like it's going to work out. Whatever it was meant to be will be. Like, that's kind of literally the only mantra I have after living it for the way my life has gone.
yeah.
10 years. But yeah, I'm really bad at like. That's where I struggle. I'm like, I don't know how to say things that are actually going to help you because I know I've been on the other side too, and whatever people were telling me, I'm like, you don't understand. So I kind of like.
Is it hard? Is it hard finding the connections when you give it, when you try to give the advice, or it kind of just, is it hard for you to actually just say what you think you want to say?
I think it's
Or
because
both?
I automatically shoot myself back to where I was, and when people were telling me, like, when you're feeling something so powerfully on the inside that nobody else can understand or nobody else can relate to, that I think for me was like, you're just saying that. Like, it doesn't help me. What you're saying right now is not helping my soul. It's not helping me. And like, just keep it. Like, I'm good. I'm going to figure it out myself. Like, you don't get it. You don't get it. So when I'm on the other side now and I'm just like I can say I understand, like I could totally say I get what you're going through. I think for me, it's just like, I can't even imagine. That's kind of where I go from there. I'm like, I can't even imagine what you're going through. Whatever you need me to do for you, I'm here. I know nothing I'm going to say is going to make it better. But just know I'm here to support you. Like, it's so hard. For that, like, I can't, I don't know. I have a really hard time with that, especially with like close friends and family. Like, just like wake up one day and just like, you know what, I'm gonna start a podcast and like make it a freaking good one, like the Moody Gemini. I love that. I love that.
Do you say Gemini?
Gemini, yeah.
Well, I'm a Gemini.
I know.
Moody.
I figured.
You know what? We can like talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
It's interesting because if you really want to know how I am, I really don't have an issue starting things. I could literally start wherever I want when I want it. It literally is just keeping it going and not getting discouraged when things aren't. Because I'm I don't know, there's a lot that's on my brain. I can see things for what they are, and I can see different versions of a lot of things and understand it. When it comes to me with creativity or just like leadership in that sense, I could be very particular, like have the magnifying glass on that one thing that I need to fix, and like I get lost in that. it's funny because I see the big picture 24/7, but once I actually start doing something and I'm like zoning in, it's just like that one thing that I'm like, oh, I don't like that, and then I'm trying to figure out what's going on here when I'm not even worried about what's happening above me, you know? So like it's funny you say that, like, how do you get up and do it? I'm like, I just did.
You know, there's a lot of layers. Like,
I've always wanted to do a podcast. Like I watched them, and then like 2 years ago, I remember when I had Insta, like I had a whole hiatus of that, but I posted, I'm like, should I start a podcast? And like everyone was saying yes. I didn't need that approval. I was just like, it was on my mind. I just put it out there. Like I still would have done it if people said no. Like I'm that kind of person, you know.
I love that.
But the thing is, when I thought about a podcast, I'm like, hey, what kind of studio space am I doing? Where am I going to get these people? And then my brain goes into hyperspace. I'm also bad at not getting things right away and then getting discouraged there because I'm like, I'm quick. My brain's really quick. So like,
I feel like that's
my
good.
Physical surroundings,
right? And then whatever happens.
I just overwhelm myself because then I'm like, oh my God, like where am I going to do the studio? Like, and then, oh, I have to pay for this. Like it just goes. Like it's purposeful, but like it deteriorates my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
So when I did this, I was just like, I had to say, you know what, like fuck the studio. Like, what can I do? Oh, okay, let me see. Okay, I found Riverside. Cool. Let me do it on here. I could just do it remotely. So much easier. They don't have to come to me. I can also a sense of like, okay, it's faster. Like, I can get it done quicker.
Right.
You know, it's always gonna be there, but then, you know, I have a camera and then it wasn't working when I plugged it into my computer, and then I was getting annoyed, and then I'm like, why don't I just plug my phone in? So I plugged my phone to my computer. The camera's so much clearer. And I'm just like, oh, if only I just did that with the rest of my life, I wouldn't be so stressed out. Doing this, like I'm already just like building an awareness. I'm like, wow, like I can see different concepts in like the littlest things and being like, okay, you know, so, and I love people. So like it was a no-brainer for me. Like I just love talking to people and just, the hard part, though, for me, I wouldn't say I'm a socially awkward person. I can feel people's social awkwardness. And I don't know if you're the same. I'm very, like, sensitive to, like, energy like that. So if I'm in a situation where I'm just, like, go-getter and then I feel something weird, I don't get closed off, but I'm so aware of it that I start closing off. I'm just like...
No, I'm not.
I start absorbing it, and then I'm just like, it's not me. But then I have a hard time getting out of it. Because I'm just like, oh, what's going on here? And then like I'm like Gemini or left, right, left, right, left, right.
Oh God. No,
it really is it really is heaven and hell for me.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Yeah, no, that's
I can literally be in the worst situation possible and I think about the stupidest joke or something that's so insignificant and I'm just laughing. Or the best thing ever in my life and I think about literally the worst thing.
Yeah.
Worst thing in the world. And they both coexist in my brain at that exact moment. So and then I'm trying to talk to people. So imagine that. That's
a different kind of mind game.
Yeah,
different kind.
But then I'm able to have conversations with people and just zone into the conversation, and then I, you know, enjoying myself. So that's really just the reason why I wanted to start the podcast.
That's awesome.
Because I like, again, going back to what I said, I like talking to people, and also with going back to what I experienced the last 2 years, like I had a whole step back with like relationships and just like community because I was just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And then obviously you step back from that and it's kind of just like, you know, either people understand or don't, but like, you know, people have their own lives. And I think that was the hardest pill to swallow, being like, okay, if I'm not going to hear from them for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I guess that's okay. I think, I don't know if you feel the same way. Sometimes I look at things more black and white. So in moments like that, I was just like, where are my friends that are, because I had multiple groups, but the way that I stepped into the groups was consistent with all of them.
Right.
The way I wanted to be, the way I wanted to receive their love and relationship. I wanted that with everybody. So like everyone's different and I had to deal with that. But then when I stepped back, it was kind of repetitive through everybody else. So just having that was like difficult to be like, okay, like they're doing their thing. So I had to step back. And then here we are talking to Jessica about
the life.
Literally something that kind of happened to her, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like going back to like Gemini, I think about a trillion things and then like I have a moment like this, I'm like, oh, I'm right where I need to be. It just, everything's fine. It's such a weird feeling that I get, like when I recognize that, you know, and the hard thing is holding on. You don't have to hold on to it, but just like having that awareness more often than less.
I can relate to that. Yeah, it's the coming back to yourself that's hard. I don't think I'm the type of person that sees things black and white. Sometimes it's just harder.
Maybe, sorry to cut you off. Maybe not. I see them for a wide variety of things, but my action is black and white. That's a better way to explain it. You know what I mean? Because I find people might say, I don't think black and white, but like, it's either yes or no.
Is that
I'm not doing this, I'm doing that.
Like how yes, it's like it can't be one way, it's the other. But like there's so many stuff in the middle. Like there's so many other things. Like, that's kind of.
What's your sign?
I'm a Taurus. A May Taurus, because I've learned that April and May Taurus are a little different.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I don't remember the differences.
I don't know them to be so true to like what I am either. They say that the April Tauruses are a little bit more like grounded and like more like in tune with like their emotions. Like they're just a little bit more like earth. They're more of that like earthy sign. And then the May Tauruses are a little bit more like strong-headed and a little bit more like
the bull.
The bull. Yeah, they're like more of that bull, whereas the April Tauruses are a little bit more like composed. They are a little bit more like their feet to the ground. Like they really connect with the earth.
Interesting.
That's what I've heard.
You would think that, no, that's good to know. It's funny. I go to an astrologer. I haven't like talked about that with her, but I never knew that. Do you know your like rising signs and all that?
I am a
I'm so interested.
I am a Libra.
Rising?
Yes, which I think could make sense for me. And then a Capricorn moon, which also makes sense for me. I like that trio. The Taurus.
I'm like trying to picture all the times we hung out and see how it relates. I don't know. I never had a. So I don't like. Do you like go to an astrologer?
No,
or do you like do?
No, I don't. But
I'm giving you my girl's number.
I'm not like that person's like, oh my god, don't talk to me about the signs. I'm kind of into it. Like I kind of like.
Yeah.
I like to see where I can kind of understand myself better, but then also like I feel like I also don't hold too much truth to it, where I don't see the connection. But if I see the connection, I'm like, oh yeah. That's why I'm a Taurus.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a Taurus.
So I've literally been having this conversation with everybody on this podcast. So your rising sign is who you are perceived as to the world. Your sun sign is your personality, and your moon sign is who you are to yourself.
I like that.
So you said you're a Libra rising. So whatever a Libra is, that's how, like if we meet up at a bar and I see you, you have a Libra energy to you that you project to me.
Kind of like that. Libras feel like they got it all figured out. They got
sometimes.
I guess sometimes they got very like they're balanced people.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Libras. There's a lot happening with it because what you said, like you find some relation to it, some don't. The planets are always moving. So like that's what astrology is. Like, you have your certain houses, you have your certain planets and what they mean, where they affect it, how they affect it. So it just like, that's why some days feel way different than the others. You know, why you're going through this in 2021 and then someone goes through it in 2022. You know what I mean? Like it just depends where everything's going. Yeah. But like for me, I'm a Leo rising and a Taurus moon.
Okay.
So I have that when you like when I'm walking out and hanging out with people, I give off that Leo energy.
My husband's a Leo.
And he is? And Daniel.
And a Daniel. Daniel Leo. Oh.
But the kicker of that whole thing of what you're saying, like I don't get the whole thing. It's like you're not a Taurus yet. You're born a Libra, and at the end of your lifetime, you become a Taurus. So I'm still learning. That's why I'm driving myself crazy because like I'm still learning the whole Gemini vibe. Because when I come right out of the womb, I'm Leo baby, and then as I grow into my lifetime, and then that last day that I'm here on Earth, that's when I fully grow into the whole Gemini energy. And then I did not know that. It's helpful because like when we're younger, we see like the whole, I followed like the zodiac, but it was just like seeing, oh, you're a Gemini. And then like I would read things and I'm like, that makes sense.
I'm not doing this today.
Yeah. I'm not cutting my hair today. Like, no. It gives you a bigger understanding of what's happening, a bigger awareness. So that's the cool part of it.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But going to Daniel, how did you guys meet?
Daniel. Oh my god, I feel like I talk about him forever. Okay, so we met by complete fluke, which I loved. I call it my Troy and Gabriella High School Musical moment that I manifested since I was in grade 4.
Your theater
moment. My theater moment. We met on New Year's Eve at a New Year's Eve party after midnight.
No way, did you actually? I didn't know this.
We did. We met by complete fluke. So we were at Universal. And the funniest part was that me and my girlfriends were actually not even supposed to be there that night. We were supposed to go to Paramount. But we got tickets last minute to go to Universal. So it was the first year that they opened. So they were having that New Year's party. We had our table, and then at midnight, I remember telling my girlfriend, I'm like, you know what? 2017, whatever happens. I'm going in with an open mind and an open heart. And then literally half an hour later, Daniel came up to me and we started chatting. And it was like a 5-minute like interaction. We took each other's numbers. And I remember he was just pronouncing my last name like so perfect. I was like, no one's ever pronounced my last name so right before. And then he gave me like the Italian double kiss on the cheek, which I was like, okay, it's stupid, but it's kind of cute. And then that's it. And then we just
You're like, I like this.
I'm like, whoa, what's happening? And I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay, it's kind of nice. And then, yeah, we started talking after that. We went from, like, January 1st meeting to January 20th first date to, like, seeing each other every single day until, like, I can't even remember. And we started dating at the end of March. And then that's it. So that was kind of like a... Oh, it's so weird to talk about, but I feel like, honestly, and he said the same thing when we had, like, one of our really intense talks back in the day, but we hold on to it because I think it speaks a lot to our souls. Like, I think we were truly, like, each other's soulmate. I used to have dreams in high school about him before I met him, which is so weird. And it's like, I actually only told one of my closest girlfriends in high school this, and I think they started in grade 10. It must have been grade 10, and they would be like very on and off, but the same 30 seconds, and it would be me walking down the aisle at my wedding. I would never really see me. It would just be like me like walking, like my view, and like I would see the aisle, but I wouldn't see him, and then it would cut to like me in front of him, but it would show me the back of his head, and it was so weird. And I always knew
I love this. Keep going.
Tall, dark, handsome, and like I had a high school boyfriend at the time, and like he wasn't.
Was he tall, dark, and handsome?
No.
He wasn't.
He was not that. Like, lighter hair, right? So, I remember telling my girlfriend, I was like, "Oh man, like I just keep having this dream," and it was recurring. Like I would have it every few months, and then came down to university, and then like we eventually broke up. That relationship ended, and you start to meet like other people, and like every time I would meet people, I'm like, is this him? Like, is this him? Like you'd meet someone with dark hair, like, oh my god, is this him? And then like the dreams would keep coming, and I'm just like, hey, it's not him. And then I met Daniel, and I swear the dreams stopped. And then because I was always like, oh no, it can't be him, because like I remember in my dream I was looking up. So he had to be taller than me with heels. So like there was all these like things that I was just like, no, that's not him. No, that's not this guy.
With heels.
I'm wearing heels at my wedding. So I'm like, no, it's not this guy. It's not this guy. It's not this guy. And then I met Daniel, and my dreams stopped. Okay, I don't want to make it seem like I dated that many people, because I didn't. I didn't. Then I met Daniel, and then the weirdest thing, so I told my girlfriend, I'm like, yeah, this dream stops. And then I think like a year into our relationship, I had the same dream, but this time I like looked into the pew and I saw his mom. Like Daniel's mom.
Full on her face?
Yeah, like full on her face. And that was like the only continuation of the dream I've ever had. And after that, I had none, like no more.
What are you eating that gives you these dreams? Because I need to eat that too.
I don't know, but I was like, Daniel was like literally the man of my dreams. And now he is like, yeah.
That's so interesting.
And he is, like, so yeah, that for me, and like we said too, which was really nice when we met each other, like 2016 for the two of us too is like a really transformative year for him and for me, and we both lost like a grandparent that we were very close to a month apart. Oh. So I lost my grandfather in June, and he lost his grandmother in May on the same day, like May 2nd and June 2nd. And then him too, he was saying like before 2017 happened, he was saying, he's like, I'm gonna let go of everything, and like I'm starting fresh. Like everything is starting fresh. And we always say that our grandparents met in heaven and like kind of brought us together.
That's so cute. Yeah. Honestly, probably. That's, like, our thing. I wouldn't doubt that at all.
That's like something we really believe in, and like
do you have other dreams like that with other situations, or was that the only thing like you've experienced?
Like that one being like recurring, like that was probably the most where I'm like, it's happening again. Like I had that dream again, like it happened again. Like it was just weird that I was like, I'm dreaming this. And it's like not one that's like, oh, it was a weird dream. And then you pass. It was like, I had it maybe a handful of times to be like, I already knew, like, was it just the same? And maybe it was like my head like playing with me. I don't know, maybe, but I don't choose to believe it that way.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I told my girlfriend, and like my girlfriend knows because she's known about it since the first time I've had this dream. And then I remember we were talking about it throughout high school, and I was like, I don't know, I don't think it's him. The person that I was with at the time, like, I don't think it's him. And then when I told her when the dream stopped too, and then I told her when I saw his mom's face too, I called her and I was like, you'll never guess I had the dream again. I even told my husband too.
Yeah.
Like, now he knows.
Did he have something like that too, or was it just you?
No, Daniel doesn't dream. When he does, it's like a random. He's like, oh my god, I actually have.
You need some magnesium.
Yeah, literally. No, Daniel's so easy. He sleeps like me. I'm the one that has all the sleeping.
Yeah, that's hilarious. No, that's really cool that you said that. Maybe you have like a little bit of I know everyone has an intuition, but like obviously it depends on where they're at. But like that's cool that you like have moments like that. Do you experience anything like that outside of like dreaming and stuff?
Deja vu. I mean, doesn't everyone experience deja vu? Please tell me everyone experiences deja vu, because like then I would feel really weird.
I still think about it, like what deja vu is really. You know what I mean? Like what?
Oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. It's gonna freak me out. I don't want to know, but it happens to me a lot. So I'm like,
that's hilarious. God. Going to like the grandparents and stuff. I know everyone's different. Do you like have moments where like you feel like they're around them? Do you like get into that world?
Yeah. And I think every time I dream them, that means like, you know, they're visiting. They're saying hi. That's my. I don't know if I necessarily like feel.
I was gonna say outside of the dreams, like more so like when you walk. No.
I wish I had like moments where I'm like, oh yeah, I felt them, like they're here, but never. No, I actually I would feel a lot of comfort in that for sure, but I've never. That's just in dreams.
You know what's funny? I've said this before too. Dee, you know her Nono. My cousin's Nono passed away. I went on a walk a few months ago, and I literally just felt him, and I texted her. I'm like, hey Dee, like, call me. She was like busy downtown. She calls me, and Courtney's on the phone, and I was just talking to her. I'm like, hey, this is like kind of weird, but I felt your no today, and I just kept hearing I love you in my head. And then I was just asking her, like, you know, do you feel. She's like, yeah, here and there. She got like the tattoo 444 reminds of her, and it was like before the wedding. So she's like, yeah, sometimes, you know, I think about him for the wedding. So I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, I don't know. I kept hearing I love you. It's not that I hear it. It's such a weird thing to explain. It's not my brain talking to me, but it's my brain talking to me, like translating, I guess. Courtney texted me a photo of a pizza box a few hours later, and on the box said, no loves you. And I was just like, oh my goodness. I'm like, Dee, I'm not weird.
I got goosebumps.
So like that's
kind of comforting though. I don't know. For me, like some people are like, oh, I don't like mediums, or no, don't believe in that stuff. But it's like, you know what? If I choose to believe in it because it gives me comfort, it makes me feel safe, and it makes me have like, then let me do that. I don't tell you what to believe in. Let me be. Like that feels good for me.
But even just like that experience itself, like I was.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, it's nice, but for me, it's weird because I'm just like.
What? Oh yeah, I can imagine what you were going through there.
Because again, like I'm a Gemini, so my brain's like it's running circles. I'm like, am I talking to myself? Is this real? Am I feeling this? What I would literally was like, I would get into that space. And I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Is this? I'm like obviously I felt the need to tell her, so I just told her. But like, I have moments like that sometimes. I'm just like, you know, it's interesting. I like it to a certain extent. Just sometimes like I'll feel things. I'm like, I don't want to feel this today.
That's a nice intuition though. It's good.
Yeah. I think I ruin my intuition a little bit because I'm thinking all the time. I think that's the hard part.
Everyone overthinks. That's like, I think that's just like, it's just a normal thing now.
I know. Do any of those like spiritual things like Reiki and stuff, like do you get into that or tried that?
I haven't tried Reiki. I've always been kind of curious about it. My homeopath that I go to though, she does like some energy work.
Is it the wrist? She texts her pulse.
She like does like tapping and
stuff,
and like she's like sometimes she'll like pull things out of my head. She's like, "Oh, you're thinking about this." And she's like, "Why are you worried about one of your sisters?" And I was like, "She's going to today. Like, how did you know that? Like, how did you know that?" And she'd be like, they're fine, they're safe, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay. But like, I remember even like going through my concussion, and like I went to her a lot, and there's just something that she does. It's just what makes me believe like there's gotta be like something.
There's definitely a higher power for sure.
Yeah, like I would go in there full out meltdown. I'd be crying. I'd be like hyperventilating. I'm like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I'm just so like lost and like blah blah. And then I would leave there completely still and like composed and calm. And like if I even wanted to try to feel like anxious, I couldn't. Like, and now going to her is like different. Like we have totally different conversations, and like everything is a little bit, it's better. But I just remember like those moments, like I was like, what the hell is this? Or like there was one time she treated me on the bed, and she told me to close my eyes and just like feel myself in the room. So I did. And I just remember laying on the bed, and I was like, whoa, it feels like my legs are like lifting in the air. I'm like, why am I lifting my legs? And I remember just like opening my eye a little bit, and she was like over my legs, and they were still laying down, but I'm like, what is she doing? That makes it feel
levitating.
Like off the bed. It was crazy. Like those two instances, like just, obviously every time I go to her, I just feel amazing. Those two instances for sure, I was like, what is this? But like I kind of like it because it makes me feel safe and it makes me feel whole.
Yeah.
Like, and just like it makes me feel good. And if that's what I need to like help me through like some tough times and like just kind of bring me back to like being grounded, then like frick, best money I ever spent. She's the best.
It's interesting you said that because I went to my Reiki girl one day, and she has a pendant, and she was just like going over my body top to bottom. I'm not kidding. Yeah. I felt like it just felt like someone was dragging their finger down my body, and I wherever she was, I felt it. Like I couldn't explain it, and I was just like, oh, this is pretty cool. And like I remember she was trying to clear, like you know how there's different chakras in the body that they need to clear.
Yeah.
She was trying to figure it out, and I already felt what spot it was. So like she was going over, I think it was like around my belly button area, and then she's like, "There's something here," and I just said on the right side, and she goes, "Yeah," and I'm like, I don't need to come to you. You know, like
that's wild.
Yeah, so wild. No, it's just interesting how you shut off just your brain whenever I can. You just know things.
How intuitive you are.
Yeah.
What your body is trying to tell you. And like,
exactly. I try to, and that's the thing, I try to do that sometimes, and it doesn't work out for me because I'm trying to be in tune. It's like, no, you're already in tune. It's just like you got to shut off the machine that's trying to tune you.
That's right. But it's crazy that everything literally is connected to your brain.
Yeah.
So if you tell your brain, and this was like something, I think this is more science though. I don't think this is more like.
I think it goes hand in hand, but I think I understand the direction you're going with it.
When you tell your brain that you're fine, like, and you train your brain that there's no pain and there's nothing wrong, then the pain will go away.
The placebo effect. Is that what it's called? The placebo effect?
I think so. Yeah. It must be something like this. Yeah. Like if you literally train your brain into thinking there's no pain, like if you have a side pain for like 3 years and then you just start to train your brain that there's actually no side pain because you've done every single test and everything comes back normal, then the side pain is actually not there. It's actually all linked to your head.
Yeah.
This is what I've heard. These are all like things like
Well, everything's connected to your brain, so like
your nerve, yeah.
That's your main system. If you like turn off there, like you can turn it off there. You know what I mean? Like you would think it would make sense to like just turn it off.
Turn it off. But like how this is about having the power to turn it off.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, kind of going back into like your whole relationship, I think just having a partner in general, you really have to work with them, but also work with yourself. Where do you find space for yourself to make decisions that you need to make for yourself versus for the relationship?
Oh, okay. So like apart from compromise? Or
like yes, it's compromise, but like how do you know when to compromise on certain things? Because you can compromise yourself or you can compromise your relationship.
Honestly, I don't think we've really been in a situation where I felt that.
Interesting.
I think
because you know how like the single life.
Yeah, give me an example.
I'm doing this for myself, like
okay, so maybe like for example, going to see my holistic nutritionist. Like Daniel is very much so where he's like, just control your brain, control your mind, and you're gonna be fine. Like you can control your anxiety. Like he's very much so like he's very mentally strong. So he's just kind of like, Jess, like just do. I'm like, no. Like I need to go to do this for me. Like I don't care how much it costs. I don't care. It makes me feel better. It does what it needs to do for me. I'm gonna do it because it's great. And he's very supportive. He's like, okay, if you feel like you need to do that, go do that. Do whatever you gotta do. So I guess in that kind of instance, like taking care of anything for my well-being, and I think especially him because he saw
that whole side.
Oh yeah, the downfall of Jess and then the rise of Jess again. Like he's been on that ride. I think for him too, whenever I tell him it's for my health or it's for me, he's very much so like he'll back off and be like, okay, do what you gotta do. It's fine. I'm not even gonna intervene. Do what you gotta do. But Daniel is like I said, he's so easy. He's so easy. Like he's the best. He's very supportive in anything I do. Like, yeah, we compromise. Yeah, we bicker. Like you're living with this person, but like we've never, honestly, I don't think we've ever fought. It's so weird. I don't think we've ever fought because I think we both just understand each other so well. But I also think we're very
I think that's what it comes down to it. I think just understand.
Yeah, there's a lot of understanding. There's a lot of connection. There's like, we both respect each other. Like never ever been in a situation where we've ever swore at each other or even told each other to shut up. Like it's just been so respectful and mutually love. Like, and we're also each other's best friends. Like we genuinely love spending time together. Like I would choose to go with him just to sit in the car with him while he runs errands versus being at home. Like, you know what I mean? Like we genuinely love being together. Like for so many times, like what kind of business can we start together? We just want to work together. Like what are we going to do together? What are we going to do together? So I think that in itself is very special and we definitely don't take that for granted. I feel like we're pretty solid and we haven't gotten to a point where we have to compromise too much of what we want. Like sometimes we're like, Jess, like I'm going to go play my video game or I'm going to go play hockey. And then I'm like, okay, see you later. Or it's like, it's
little stuff like that. Like not that serious.
It's little things. Like instead of no, Jess, I don't want to go do this today. I want to go do this. Or no, Daniel, I don't want to do this. I'm going to do this. Like we're home together a lot too, right? So we like on the weekends or stuff. But so we find our ways to spend time apart, but also have a lot of fun when we're together. I don't know. I can't, there's nothing I can't say.
Do you find that it's just like how you guys act with yourselves throughout your day, or is there a lot of communication that comes with having that? I don't want to say, for lack of a better word, like relaxedness in your relationship. Is it a lot of like communication, or is it more so just like this is how we are and this is how we're living?
No, there's a lot of communication.
Okay.
Yeah, we're very like that's number one. Like we never have our phones at the table. That's like our number one rule. Like we set a lot of ground rules. Like
okay.
Not ground rules, but like we said, like when we were about.
No, this is good to know because like that's what I mean by like compromise and stuff. Like you.
Yeah.
I like. It's not a compromise, but it's just kind of just like a respect to me. That because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, there's conversations people say you need to be 50-50 in a relationship, and other people say no, you need to be 100-100. It's kind of just like what's, you know what I mean? Where it's different for everybody, but like just what you said about communicating, like that's what I meant by like compromise and stuff. You know, so like you do have like something like, hey, like let's not do this today. Let's have this.
Oh yeah, but it also depends on like how the other's feeling, right? So if like I'm having a day, then it's not 50-50, it's not 100. It's like he does 80, I do 20, and then the next week it's different. Like I'll put in the more, he does the less. Or we're just, honestly, like we're at a point where it's like we are a well-oiled machine. Like he'll start the laundry and I'll finish it, and then he'll load the dishwasher and I'll empty it. Or if he's cooking, then I'm washing the dishes. Or it's like
that's good
together.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is like from our parents too. Like you see the way your parents' relationships are, and we had a lot of talks before we got married about like you know, let's see, like, are we really eye to eye? Like, what do we want our marriage to look like? Like, how are we going to build a strong foundation? What do we like that our parents did, and what do we want to not do that they did? How do we want to raise our kids? Like, there were so many like really good conversations that we had before we got married. That I think really kind of set the tone of where we wanted to be when we were married. Like it's such a stupid rule, not a rule, but something that we do that was like something like, you know, we don't want to show up to family events separate. We always try to get there together. Like it's just something that we always go to a family event together, and we always leave a family event together to go home. Like that is like one thing that we always do. We try to do, unless I'm coming from work, he's coming from work, and we get caught up. Like it is what it is. But majority of the time, if we can make it work, we'll meet at home, we're going in one car, and we're going to the family event, and then we're coming home together. No phones at the table, ever, like not even for breakfast. Just to like plan out our day, talk to each other if we can before work. Like when he gets up for like really, really early mornings, I get up with him just so we can have a coffee together before he goes. Like I'm not that person like, okay, I'm gonna stay in bed. Like, no, my husband's up, I'm up, let's go have a coffee and then I'll see you out. And then I'll see you when you get home.
It's interesting because like that just comes down, like someone can hear this and not relate at all, but it just comes down to like yes, it's your partner in your relationship, but your personality, how you are. That's how you are. So like it works.
It works because Daniel and I are honestly, he is the male version of me. He's just a lot more calm, which is great because I'm a lot more so he definitely balances me out there. Like he always has a joke that I never let him get a word in because I'm constantly talking. But he is the male version of me, like the way he is with like friends and how others perceive him, and like very friendly, very humble, very outgoing. He's very smart. Like now that's not really me, but like this is more so like him. He's just perfect for me. Like that is my grounding person. But also
that's great. I love that.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's great.
I'm like so single right now. Damn.
Oh no.
So like going back to what you said about like, you know, having these conversations, was this something like was it gradual, these conversations, like when you started dating, or was it kind of just like you know, when you knew the question was popping up, like you would start having these conversations? Like was it a natural conversation you guys would have with each other, or was like, okay, no, we need to sit down?
No, it was very I feel like my whole relationship with Daniel was just very natural. It progressed pretty quick. We dated for 2.5 years before we got engaged. So I just think in that 2.5 years, and I was very young. Like I was 21 when I met him.
How old is he?
He's 4 years older than me, so he's 30. So when I met him, he was 25 and I was 21. And our relationship, I would say, from when I was 22 to the time we got engaged, so like that 1.5 years just was like a steady incline. I just even feel like the way we met was so organic, so natural. And like ever since then, just conversations, the way we were able to speak about our feelings, just like that whole progression of our relationship in that first year was just very natural. The fact that we even tried, even if it was half an hour, we would try to make time to see each other like early on, like even if it was for a quick walk. I just felt like everything with Daniel was just very natural, very organic. And that kind of led to those conversations. Some were very tough. Some we had tough conversations, and some were just effortless. And it's just like, this is what we want in life, and like where are we here? And it was great. And we never, like I said, never had like a true fight, because I just feel like we were both just very in tune with what we wanted, and we knew that each other was that. And I think we just found peace. And I think that's the easiest way to explain it.
I think that's the only way to put it, because if you don't have that like piece of just being like sitting with each other and being like, okay, I'm good, like that'll really ruin you.
That's right.
I would say.
That's right.
You know, but it's interesting what you say, because like I think we're just the reality of just how the world is and how everyone else is. Like people don't have these kind of relationships. Like what you just said, like, oh, it's just easy. Like it's so beautiful to hear. I'm so happy for you. And I'm just thinking about like just how different everyone else's life is, and it's like, wow, like some people don't get that. And it's like trying to figure out, I don't need to figure it out, but just my brain being like, you know, where is this coming from? Is it like they're trying to force something? Is it truly not meant for them to experience? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, again, relating back to me when I'm trying to figure out my own life is kind of just like, where do I go with stuff like that? Because I can understand the whole side of what you're saying, and I believe it. And then I see and experience other people's relationships, and it's kind of just like, I guess for me, it's just absorbing everything and kind of like creating my own version of how I could find someone and how I can live my life, you know, because like it's just interesting.
I know, it's so much easier said than done. So much easier said than done. But like I truly believe things happen when you least expect them.
I know.
It is so. I can't even tell you. This is why I'm really bad at giving advice. See? I'm very bad.
No, it's not you. It's just I know these things. I'm just like, oh, I have to hear this again.
Because even me, like in 2016, like when I was there, I'm like, it was down in the dumps, and I'm just like, oh, like you know what? I'm single. I know what's gonna happen. 2017, I'm like, whatever happens, happens. And the universe was like, yeah, like you just wait half an hour. You just wait that half an hour, and he's got.
That's crazy.
But it didn't even have to be him. It could have been like a job opportunity. It could have been, but like that is the time that I guess the universe was like, nope, you're ready now. But maybe it's because I always thought I would get married young. I think this was like also like when I was really small, I was like, I'm going to get married at 24. Mm-hmm. Like, it was like a weird thing. I'm 24, I'm going to be married. I was engaged at 24, but.
Well, that's pretty close.
Pretty close. It was pretty close. So pretty much that was it for me after that. But
it's funny because I've said things too that like I'm gonna be like this and that. It's like it's hasn't happened or it has happened in the weirdest ways. But it's just, you know what it is for me? Because I go to my astrologer and I go to my Reiki girl. They're basically like my therapists at the end of the day. They're just do it on a whole another level, which helps me, I think. I can go to a therapist, but like I think I look at things too nuanced where it would kind of fuck with my brain. Anyways, with them, they kept just saying like, you don't really truly know what you want. And this is not everyone. This is just for me specifically and whoever can relate. Like you truly don't know what you're meant to have in this life. So that's why my lesson is always just like live through things and experience things for what they are versus like seeing something and be like, hey, trying to analyze it and be like, hey, this is not going to work for me. This is going to work for me, blah, 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 this and that. Because I've been doing that and it's kind of like it doesn't. I just found myself in a big cycle being like, I don't know if I'm ruining something or I'm.
I thought that too.
You know, like I don't know if I'm ruining something or I'm not looking at it the right way. And then I try to think of how to look at it differently. And then it's like a reversal. It's still not working. It's like finding the breath in that whole just like chill, relax.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's how I felt too. Like, listen, that whole manifestation, like when I was young, like I thought I was going to be on Broadway. Like I thought I was going to be in theater. Like I thought like there were so many different things. And like when it didn't happen, and now looking back, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. This makes sense that didn't happen. Because even with soccer, if I went to go get a scholarship in the States, I would have never met Daniel. Like there's things that happen or just like, oh my God, thank God. Or like, you know, I said I wanted to be married with I wanted kids. I wanted my family to be finished by 26. That was what I want.
So Taurus of you.
Oh my God. And then 26, I was like, oh my God. I'm still recovering from a concussion. I can't have a kid. Like, I can't have a kid right now. I can't even take care of myself. Like, oh my God. And then 27 passed and I'm like, I can't have a kid right now. Like, I just started living again. Like, I can't have a kid now. And then 28 passed and I was like, I'm thriving right now. Like, I finally feel like I'm getting my grip on my feet. I can have a kid now. And then 29, I'm like, okay, now why isn't there no kid? Why am I not having a kid now?
Yeah.
Right? So, like, it's just, like, it's a lot that's, like, comes up. So, I think, too, like, for what I thought, too, even though I've said it, and things that were meant to happen happened already, but there's still things that needed to take place and things that needed to happen in my life in order for me to be maybe the best possible mom. Maybe I needed to have that concussion and get over it and curb my anxiety and like really feel strong to be able to care for this baby and like be ready for this baby. And I think now, like talking about babies, I'm like, now I'm ready, right? So it's like whenever that happens for me, like whenever it does, then I'll be ready and I'll be more confident in myself to do so. I think honestly, I don't know how I would have a kid at 26.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was not it for me.
Well, imagine. Well, is that when you had? No, 26 was 2020 for you.
21.
Oh, so when all that? Yeah. So it wouldn't even.
That wouldn't have been the year for me.
You would have been like a wreck.
No. I didn't even want. Like I was like, Daniel, there's absolutely no way. Like I am so still trying to recover. Like I was also like, I'm not like a skinny person, but like I lost so much weight that I look sick. And now I gained all my weight back and then some, and I'm like, yes, I feel good. I feel healthy.
What you were talking about, like the whole, this is not the right moment for me, everything takes place. What do you do in the situations when your thoughts are completely opposite that?
That's hard because that actually has happened a lot in the last year. Like even talking about babies, for an example, like it's something that you really want, but it's not coming yet. And then you see other people have that dream and it's just like, why not me? And like you get into those battles. I think that for me this year was probably like the one thing that like, not was triggering, but like that I felt myself go down that path a little bit more. But the only thing I kept saying was trusting God's timing. Yeah. I think that was the only thing that kind of spoke true to me. I started wearing it as my background on my watch and like I just started to really believe in that and believe in faith because I don't know why my brain, for some reason, as soon as I started picturing like family and children and like that kind of spiritual connection, I kind of trusted more in God and choosing to trust in him a little bit more. And like this is no longer about me. This is that. That's the higher power for me now. So my brain kind of switched there, and now that's my comfort. And it has been my comfort. So I'm just trusting in God's timing, and it'll happen for us when it's time and when it's the right baby, and I'm excited, and that's it.
Do you take the time to think like that with even the littlest things, if they don't go, I don't want to say your way, but if they kind of go in a different direction?
No, and I'm trying to think, like, I think for me, like, to relate on that, like, I'm a very big planner, and I think that's kind of why I'm so anxious, is because my plan gets shaken up in like one way, like, what's an example?
You know what that is? That's your Capricorn moon sign, because they're planners.
Oh my God, if my plan gets like a little bit like messed up in my day, I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? My whole timing is messed up. Now I can't do this and this and this, and now this is all messed up. I'm like, oh my God, it's just really bad.
So I'm not an astrologer, but like to touch on that for a second, like the whole Capricorns, they're the people that plan without a destination. So you're who you are as yourself is planning, but the Taurus is all about stability and getting, I don't want to say materialism, but like just having that security in your life. So that's why it's driving you crazy, because you're planning with trying to have that security around you. So that's why your brain's very like,
yeah, because when I have a plan, I'm not anxious. I'm good. Yeah. I know what my day looks like. I know what my week looks like. Everything is perfect. And like, it's bad. Like when I have a day of errands with my husband, like we both have Fridays off together. So our Fridays are from 9 in the morning to like 4 p.m. errands. And I put times. I'm like, if we have to be at Fortino's at 9:10, we are going to be done because we're only picking up this, and this. We should be out of there by 9:40. No, yes. And then if we're in Fortino's and I see my clock and I'm like, we only have 5 more minutes here. Otherwise, the whole day is going to be messed up.
Oh my goodness. You're hilarious.
That's me. It's bad.
See, you know what's funny? I'll get in zones like that where I'm aware and thinking about that, but I'll still just walk around and just kind of go.
Oh, and I hate being late. That's my other thing. If I'm late, I'm anxious. I'm in the car. I'm like, let's go, everyone.
I know Italians are like that, but growing up, it was like, we're getting ready. We know how long it's going to take to get to this destination, so we leave a little bit earlier. I think, I'm going all over the place right now. With my relationships, I found a lot of people were not like that, and I would drive myself crazy.
I can't.
I don't know if you experienced that too. Like I had one friend where I'd be like, hey, I'm like, we have to be there at 9:30, so I'll leave. I knew how long it took me to get to her house, so I would, plan, okay, if we leave at her house for this time. But like not in like a hypersensitive, just like, no, it just like makes sense. Like leave at this time. I would like get there and I would wait like 20 minutes outside. I'm like, dude, let's go. I'm like,
that is literally me and my husband. Like I do that on purpose. If I do this, if I take a shower now, then I can blow dry my hair at this time. Then I can do my makeup because I know that we need to leave the house by this time, the latest, to avoid this. And if we get some red light, like that's me. My husband is just, I'm spinning like a ballerina, and he's just taking his time. And I'm like, oh my God. I literally can't say, Jess, what's the difference for 5 minutes? And I'm like, everything's a difference, because there could be a road close and then we're going to be 15 minutes late. Like, come on.
Okay, so that's probably a good example then. When you're in situations like that for compromising, what happens then in there for you?
Nothing. He still takes his time, and I'm just left around the house pacing, sweating that we're going to be late.
Have to reapply your deodorant because you just rubbed it off.
Like, oh my God. All we need is 3 red lights and we're going to be really late.
Oh my God, you're hilarious.
No, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
And when you get there, do you feel, is it like we could have been here earlier, or it's kind of just like, yeah, it was fine, whatever?
Yeah, always. It was always like, we're just going to his parents for dinner. Like, it's really okay.
Oh, that's so funny.
You are a mile a minute. You need to calm down.
So like a moment like that, do you find yourself having a hard time like stepping out of that?
Yes. Yes, because it's like in my head, I'm like, no. Like, I can't shake the fact that now we're going to be late. Like, and then it goes like, oh my God, what is his mom going to say? Because now it's like, we're the last one at the family event and my hand's hurting. Like, oh my God, what if they start eating without us? But it's all my fault. because I didn't get him here on time.
No, Italians will never eat without you. That's the thing. I think that's why you're most anxious, because if you're late, yeah.
But they'll be mad because their grandchildren now are hungry because of you. Oh my God. So I'm just like, oh my God, I can't.
Yeah. Definitely with the Italian stuff too, it's funny because like my nonna would be like, if I'm just going over, she wants the food hot. She wants it burning.
Yeah.
I'm like, Nonna, I don't want any of this food hot. Like I'm like something like now more so. I'm not like late to things, but like if it's 10 minutes, I'm not like worried about calling or letting her know. Like I'll see you.
Right.
She's like waiting for me with the hot food. I'm just like, I get it. You want it to be timed and warm. It's just like I can't eat the food either way, so just cook it and just wait like 2 minutes. It's fine.
Oh my God.
I think it is part of our culture though, in a way.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm just like been drilled that like.
You get that from your parents?
I don't know. Like, no, my mom is the most chill person on the planet. My mom's
Nick?
Like, I don't know. My dad.
Maybe?
No. He's also kind of like, don't worry about it. I think it's just
like,
me.
Don't worry about it, but he's worrying about it.
I don't know. My dad also is like very composed. My dad's also like very like me though. He's like very outgoing. He's like, oh, sorry, we're late. We just got fucking traffic. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But maybe it's because I'm the oldest. I don't know, because my sisters too, like they couldn't give a shit. Like they're just so easygoing.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Are your parents have siblings?
My mom is the middle of 3 girls, and my dad's an only child.
Okay, so you're the only one. I talk about this all the time. You have the oldest child syndrome.
Oh, for sure.
Your dad's an only child, so that doesn't count. They are just in their own world. Apparently, middle children are the worst because they're the outcasts. Sorry, Nicole. No, but it's funny you say that because my parents are both the youngest, and my brother's the youngest too. So I'm the only one that like really experiences the older child life.
You're right. My
parents will be
the oldest.
Yeah,
and neither of my sisters are the oldest. So it's just
it's a good way to think of things because like my parents are like that too, like antsy, but like they're so chill and nonchalant, and I'm just like,
this is the epitome of me. Yeah. Even to the point where I invite my family for Thanksgiving and I have to make a menu so everyone knows what
oh my God.
So they know what we're having, and then I drop my dog. Do I have it in here? I do. Me and Daniel went on a road trip, so my parents watched my dog, so I had to make them an itinerary.
I hate you. That's hilarious.
I'm going to give her medicine.
They're probably like, did you get the itinerary? Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny.
I even scheduled, my mom is Nana Pina, because she's Jusapina. So I'm like, weekends Nana Pina, weekdays Nana Tina.
Oh my God, that's so cute. That's so funny.
I can't.
Yeah, like no, my parents are they are like that in a way, but like I think to the extent that they would be if they were, I would put it like an older child, it would be completely different.
Oh my God,
it's a true thing.
So weird. And Daniel's the youngest.
So that explains why he's like.
So
why? What if we were 5 minutes late?
Daniel's
everything goes hand in hand, though. It could be a silly thing to say, but like it really is like
it makes sense.
A whole different experience.
100%. His mantra is Hakuna Matata for sure. He's got not one worry. He is so chill, go with the flow, and I'm very like.
Yeah.
We need to be.
You gotta take a break though. You gotta. Relax.
I know.
I do that too. Don't worry. I feel things and I'm like, whoa, this is so. I'll do the littlest things too, like the stupidest things. And I'm like, oh, I don't actually need to do that. Okay.
It's hard. When there's a breach in my schedule, I literally lose my mind.
Well, you know what? It goes back to like the whole thing about control. I've been talking about this a lot. Just you, again, like what you say, put it in God's hands. This and that. It's just like, yeah, like you have to really put that into your everyday lifestyle, because like,
I know. But that I actually cannot control. But like getting
you can.
I know we can.
That's the thing, though. I learned that you can actually control, like the way you process things. Yeah. I think the hard part is knowing that you have the control. Like my thing would be like, I have the control, but if I'm around people that don't have that control, I'll have less of a control of the control. You get what I'm saying?
That I think I'm the opposite in that way. Because I find that when I'm around people that are a little bit more anxious, or a little bit more like, oh my God, like I kind of get a little bit more calm. So this might be like more of a maternal instinct because I'm the oldest.
Yes, probably.
Because then I switch to like, it's okay, like don't worry, like we're good. We're good. Even though I'm also like kind of freaking on the inside because I know we're also late. But I'm like, no, we're good. This is actually okay. We're gonna be there and we're gonna be fine. And they're just gonna be starting and everything's gonna be good. But it, like, I guess because it's me and Daniel and he's more like that, I feel like I have to be the other way because then we'll never leave.
That's important that you said that though, for the maternal instinct, because it's really like with the climate and everything in our world, like men and women are very different.
Yeah.
Very different. Like there's different spectrums of it, of how we act, obviously, and how we do things. But like what you just said, the maternal thing, I 100%, because like if I was going through that, I would be understanding, but I'd be more like, okay, like, no, I said this already. Like we're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not like an angry person, but like I would get more frustrated quickly because I'm just like, no, we already talked about this. I intellectualized the whole conversation and gave them what I needed to say. I'd be like, no, like we're not doing this. Calm down. It's fine. You know?
Right.
So I get what you're saying 100% with the whole maternal side of it because it makes so much sense.
Yeah. That's the only time where I feel like I can be calm in a situation where I want to freak out a little bit is if I'm with someone that at that time is going through something a little bit and it's hitting them in a different way where they're starting to get like, and I'm like, okay, no. You're going to be okay. Like, it's all good. Don't worry about it. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
In a weird way, I do thrive through chaos in some sort of way.
I thrive through care. Yeah. If I'm taking care of somebody else, I don't worry about myself. It's the weirdest thing.
I guess I am taking care of people. I guess more so the situation. Like I found myself, I can't give you an exact example right now. Like maybe there's like something happening where someone's like either passing out or something. Like I'll randomly not even think. I'll be the first person to be like, hey, get the chair. They need to sit down. Call the police.
You're proactive.
Like quick. Like it's not even like what do I do. It's just like I'll have that natural thing to be like fix that. Everyone needs to shut the fuck up.
That's awesome.
Sit down.
Yeah. That's.
But if I have to give emotion. If I have to be emotional, maybe that's where I lack in that department.
But you get shit done. That's okay. You react in like you're impulsive. That's the one. Like you're like right on. Like you're like, tell me this.
Good and bad.
Good, yeah. No, but that's okay. Because sometimes one time I was watching my niece and like she was kind of choking a little bit, and I just froze. I was like, I don't know what to do.
No, that's the thing. Yeah. No, I'll jump right in. I'll be like, "Are you okay? What's going on?"
Oh God, I froze.
I'll be the finger in the mouth.
My heart just immediately drops and I'm frozen. I'm like, I can't move.
I think, okay, that's cool that we talked about this because I think that when people get very emotional, I can step back and be like I can see it's an emotional spot versus like if it's actual like
take action.
Physical take action, I jump right in without even thinking. Like without even
good instinct.
Thinking.
So yeah, it's where your instincts lie.
Yeah. And actually it kind of goes back to like the whole astrology thing because remember when I just talked about emotions and all that? Like I don't know if you're too familiar, but like again with the whole planets and everything where they are and stuff, there's different water signs in our zodiac. I don't have any main planets in any water signs. So water signs are like, typically more emotional. So that's why like sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't. I've been told so many times you have a very hard time relating to anybody that has water in their chart because like it's interesting, So it's funny.
I don't know why I feel like I kind of vibe with that too. I think it's because I'm not that I'm an aggressive person. I just think my personality is a little bit more forthcoming. Like I'm just a little bit more like in your face. Like, oh my God, tell me everything because I'll tell you everything. Whatever you want to, I'll tell you.
Well, Libras, that's your Libra signs are about balance and like justice. You're the type of person if you see it unbalanced, you'll fix it.
Because I thrive in awkward situations.
You'll fix that. Yeah.
I thrive.
See how everything relates though? How cool that is? Like it just you'll be like, I don't like that. Let's fix that.
Because like I think I get a lot of practice at this in the bridal world. So when I'm doing consulting, like when I'm with my brides,
with all the moms and the daughters,
moms, the brides, who's the shy one? I'm like, give me them. I got it.
Yeah.
All right, let me get in there. They'll be fine. And then they leave and I'm their best friend. Like it's just like I don't know. I love it. I'm like, let me just shake them up a little bit. We got this. They're gonna be great. there's like a lot of practice with that kind of dynamic.
You should go. I'm gonna give you her contact. You should really go to her. I feel like you'll get a good kick out of like just seeing what your life's like. I mean, but you know what I mean? Like diving into it, getting like some insight on that kind of level, Yeah, I know everyone has different perspectives on life and stuff, but truly like when I started going to the astrologer, which was 2021 actually, I got it as a gift for my birthday, and I just remember leaving it feeling a relief of like, oh my God, like I'm feeling things for a reason. And I say this all the time, and going to the astrologer is not about like, okay, you're getting married in 2 months.
Yeah, it's not future reading.
No, like I literally go, I'm not kidding, I've probably been over 20 times since 2021. And like every time I leave, like I hear good things, but I don't hear good things at the same time. I'm like, fuck, this is kind of shit. She's like, yeah, it's gonna be shit now. Like, go through it, see what you can do. She just helps me like try to move through whatever I'm going through. It's not like she's saying, she's not giving me destination points, being like, hey, wait a few months. In a way, yes, but like just like navigating me through, which is cool, and I think I need.
That's good. It's nice to have a little bit of guidance that way too.
Yeah.
And it just kind of makes you feel like I'm safe. I got comfort knowing what can transpire in a couple months, or why I'm reassured as to what I'm feeling right now, and it's going to go away. That's just in and itself very comforting.
And even like going back to our experience of what we both went through, like it's hard to get advice from people when they don't experience what we went through, and two, just trying to take what they experience in life and kind of apply it, and it's like it doesn't work sometimes.
No, it doesn't work. Yeah,
and it's not even like being rude, it's just like thank you. Yeah. No, like it's so, you want to be so open to like getting that guidance, but there's just something that's just like no. It's just not it, and that's so hard because you're trying to be like, oh my God, am I shooting down all these people trying to help me? Is it is it
no one's talk to me anymore because I'm just in this mood and no one can get through me, and I'm just shutting people out. And
is it me? Is it my surroundings? Like it's a lot. I'm at the bottom of the hole. Am I still digging deeper? Like what's going on? Yeah. But Jess, this has been great. Yes! I really like this one. I don't really see you a lot, but like we never actually had like a good conversation like this. So I really appreciate this. This was good.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me. This was really we unfolded a lot today.
Yeah.